Welcome to Mr. Joe's exclusive stories, where real emotions meet unforgettable moments. Today's story isn't just dramatic. It's a life-shaking confession, a marriage split open by secrets, betrayal, and a truth no one saw coming. If you love emotional journeys that test the limits of love, loyalty, and forgiveness, then settle in. Because this one will hold your heart hostage until the very last second. The silence in our living room felt heavier than the walls themselves. My wife stood across from me, hands trembling, eyes shining with a strange mix of fear and hope. "Daniel, I'm pregnant," she whispered. For a moment, the world slowed, then collapsed. "Pregnant?" The word crashed through my head like a car hitting concrete. My mind reeled back to the cold, clinical report I'd hidden in my drawer. Non-viable sperm count. The doctor's voice echoing like a bad recording. "I'm sorry, natural conception isn't possible for you." I felt the ground tilt. A storm rose in my chest. Confusion, betrayal, disbelief crashing into each other like breaking glass. "How?" The word tore out of me, cracked and sharp. Her shoulders folded inward, as if bracing for impact. She clutched the loose fabric of her t-shirt over her stomach, as if protecting something. I don't know," she stammered. "I was going to tell you sooner, but I was scared." My pulse hammered in my ears. Every breath tasted like fire. The air in the room felt too thick, like I was breathing through cloth. Scared? Of what? Of me? Of this? Of us? My thoughts spiraled into dark corners I never wanted to visit. Was she lying? Did something happen? Was there an explanation I couldn't see through the fog of hurt? Or was this exactly what it looked like? Her lips trembled, tears gathering in her eyes. Mine burned behind my own, but I refused to blink. "Say something," she pleaded, voice cracking. "Please. Something." The problem was, there were too many somethings. Too many questions. Too many jagged pieces of reality piercing my chest at once. "How far along are you?" I asked, my voice suddenly flat, hollow. "About 6 weeks," she whispered. 6 weeks. I did the math in my head automatically. 6 weeks ago we had been what? Passing each other in the hallway like strangers. Sleeping with our backs turned. Talking about bills, not dreams. Sharing a bed, but not a life. 6 weeks ago, I was still reeling from the word infertile. My jaw clenched so hard my teeth hurt. 6 weeks, I repeated slowly. "And you're just telling me now." "I needed to be sure," she said quickly. "I did 3 tests, Daniel. I didn't know how you'd react. You've been so distant lately." Distant. If only she knew. If only she knew what it felt like to sit in a doctor's office and have your entire identity as a man rewritten in one sentence. To walk out into bright daylight feeling like a hollowed-out shell. To lie awake at night beside your wife, staring at the ceiling, knowing you might never give her what she always dreamed of. But I hadn't told her. I'd tucked the lab report into the bottom drawer of my desk, under old receipts and forgotten documents, like it was something that could be buried and forgotten if I never said it out loud. And now she was standing right in front of me, telling me she was pregnant. My chest rose and fell too quickly. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, wind pounding against me, one step away from free fall. "Are you happy?" I asked, and I hated how small my voice sounded. Her eyes widened, surprised. "Am I? Of course I'm happy. I'm terrified, but happy. This is what we talked about. A family. Our family." The words "our family" sliced clean through me. A bitter laugh escaped before I could stop it. It sounded wrong in the room, like it belonged to someone else. "Daniel?" She took a hesitant step toward me. "What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that?" I swallowed, but my throat felt dry, raw. I could feel the confession clawing its way up. The secret I'd been sitting on for months, tightening my chest, poisoning my smile. I could have lied again. I could have played along, waited, tested, delayed the explosion. But this moment had already cracked open the floor under us. There was no going back to normal. "I need to show you something," I said. She blinked, confusion flashing across her face. "What?" I walked past her, feeling her eyes follow me, and went into the small study where we kept our old documents and laptop. My hands shook as I pulled open the bottom drawer of my desk, fingers fumbling through papers until they landed on the familiar stiff envelope. The test results. The worst souvenir of my life. I walked back into the living room and handed it to her without a word. She took it slowly, her brows knitting together. She glanced at the heading. Then she read it. I watched the color drain from her face as her eyes moved down the page. Non-viable, she whispered, lips barely forming the words. Her eyes flicked back to the date at the top. Daniel, this is from 3 months ago. I nodded once, my gaze fixed on her face. You knew? Her voice rose a pitch. You knew, and you didn't tell me? I couldn't, I said hoarsely. I didn't know how. I felt broken, less of a man. I didn't want to see that look in your eyes. What look? She demanded, tears spilling over now. The one I have right now? Yes, I said, my voice cracking. Exactly that one. She stared at me, the paper trembling in her hands. Tears hit the test result, bleeding the ink slightly. So let me get this straight, she said, her tone turning sharp, brittle. You went to the hospital alone, got these results, hid them, lied by omission for 3 months. You let me think everything was fine, let me keep dreaming. And now you're standing there judging me for being pregnant. I'm not judging. Really? She snapped. Because it feels like you are. I'm trying to understand. I shouted, the volume shocking us both. The words bounced off the walls like a slap. Her chest heaved. Understand what, Daniel? How you're pregnant, I said, each word heavy. When my body makes that impossible. The silence that followed was worse than any scream. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. She looked away, blinking rapidly, as if searching the curtains, the floor, anything but my face, for an answer. A cold weight settled in my stomach. Is there someone else? I whispered. Her shoulders flinched like I'd hit her. For a fraction of a second, the tiniest flicker, something passed over her face. Guilt. Fear. I wasn't sure, but I saw it, and I wished I hadn't. Daniel, she whispered. Please don't do this. Don't do what? I stepped closer, heart pounding. Ask if my wife has been sleeping with someone else. Ask if the child she is carrying could possibly be mine when a medical report says that's impossible. I tapped my chest, voice rising again. What exactly am I not supposed to do right now? Her lips trembled. I didn't plan for this to happen. Time seemed to slow. My ears rang. I need you, I said quietly, to answer the question. She pressed a shaking hand to her mouth, eyes squeezed shut. Tears slipped through anyway. Yes, she finally whispered, the word barely audible. There was someone. Everything inside me broke at once. A sharp, bitter taste flooded my mouth. My knees felt weak. I put a hand on the back of the chair to steady myself, the wood digging into my palm. Who? I asked. How long? She opened her eyes, and they were full of terror. It was a mistake. That's not an answer. It happened once, she said quickly. Just once. I swear to you, Daniel. Who? I repeated, the word coming out like a growl. Her gaze darted away again. That was answer enough. Names flew through my mind. Colleagues whose names I barely remembered. The guy who lived next door and always greeted her a little too enthusiastically. The pastor's charming cousin who once laughed too loudly at her jokes. Then, one name landed with a sickening thud. Tolu. I asked, my voice suddenly icy. Was it Tolu? Her eyes flew back to mine, wide and wild. The silence spoke for her. Tolu. My best friend since university. The man who'd been the best man at our wedding. The person who knew almost everything about me, including, apparently, now, the one thing my wife hadn't. I laughed again. This time, the sound was completely empty. You slept with my best friend? I said slowly, trying the words on like a shirt that didn't fit. My infertile self was too much, but your vows weren't enough. I didn't sleep with him because you're infertile, she cried. I didn't even know then. I found this out today with you. But you slept with him, I said. Pregnancy aside. That happened. She sagged, sobbing now. Yes. I'm so sorry. I was lonely, Daniel. You shut me out. You stopped touching me. You stopped talking to me. We were two strangers sharing a bed. I tried to reach you, but every time I did, you just disappeared into yourself. So your solution, I said, my voice shaking, was to disappear into him. Her sob turned into a choke. It wasn't like that. It's exactly like that, I snapped. You crossed a line and you knew it. She dropped the test result onto the coffee table and covered her face with both hands. Her body shook with each breath. I stared at the paper. Non-viable sperm count. Infertility. 3 months ago. 6 weeks pregnant. Affair with my best friend. My life had turned into an equation that equaled pain, no matter how I arranged the numbers. I couldn't stand still anymore. The room felt too small, the air too hot. I grabbed my keys from the bowl near the door. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice muffled behind her hands. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Away. Out. I need air. I need space before I say something we both can't come back from." "Please don't leave me," she sobbed. "Daniel, please. Don't walk out like this." I paused with my hand on the doorknob. "Walk out like what?" I asked quietly. "Like a husband whose wife is pregnant with his best friend's child? Tell me the script, because I've never rehearsed this scene before." Her sobs only grew louder. I shut the door behind me and walked into the evening. The air outside was cooler, but it didn't help. Lagos traffic murmured in the distance, a familiar soundtrack that felt oddly detached from the chaos inside my chest. People walked past our gate, laughing, talking, bargaining with street vendors. Life was continuing, oblivious. Somewhere, someone was celebrating good news. Somewhere, a man was hearing I'm pregnant and sinking to his knees in grateful joy. I shoved my hands into my pockets and walked. My feet moved on autopilot, carrying me past kiosks and street food stands, past noisy children kicking a ball, past couples walking so close their shoulders touched. Every step felt like I was walking deeper into a tunnel, further away from the life I recognized. I ended up at a small late-night cafe I sometimes used when I needed to work. Dim lights, gently clinking cups, soft music. It had always felt safe. Tonight, it felt like anywhere else. Foreign, fragile. I sat in a corner and stared at the sweating bottle of water in front of me. My phone buzzed over and over in my pocket. Her name lit up the screen again and again until I turned it face down. I thought about the doctor's office. The smell of disinfectant. The hum of the AC. The way the doctor had folded his hands. Kind eyes, rehearsed tone. "Your tests show a non-viable sperm count," he'd said. "There are options we can explore: assisted reproduction, donor sperm. But natural conception is highly unlikely." I had nodded in silence, my ears ringing, throat burning. The only thing I'd managed to say was, "Can I think about it?" "Of course," he'd replied gently. "But I would encourage you to talk to your wife. You shouldn't carry this alone." So I had carried it alone. For 3 months. I told myself I would wait for the right moment. The perfect moment. A calm night, soft music, maybe after dinner, when we were laughing about something small. Then I would say it. We would cry, hold each other, make a plan. Instead, I grew quiet. I withdrew. I pulled away, physically and emotionally, not because I'd stopped loving her, but because I loved her so much the thought of watching her dreams shatter broke me. So I broke silently, and she broke loudly. I'll never know if things would have been different if I told her that day. If we would have grieved together instead of tearing apart separately. All I knew in that moment was this. Secrets had destroyed us from both sides. Mine about my body, hers about her choices. My phone buzzed again. This time I glanced at it. "Ada, Daniel, please come home. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. Please don't shut me out. I'm scared. Please." I swallowed hard. I didn't want to go back. But you can't pause your life in a cafe forever. At some point, you have to walk back into your own story. And that's where we'll pause part 1 of this story. Daniel has just discovered the unthinkable. His wife is pregnant, his best friend is involved, and his whole world is hanging by a thread. But what happens when he finally walks back through that door? Does he forgive her? Does he walk away? And what about the baby caught in the middle? Join me in part 2 of this emotional journey here on Mr. Joe's exclusive stories to see how this story twists, deepens, and challenges everything you thought you knew about love, pain, and second chances. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves real emotional stories, and subscribe so you don't miss part 2.